Righty, let's get this thing off the trailer. Righty, welcome back. So, fucking messages. so anyway, you need to have a good look around this Morry body. It's been a few days. It's actually after Christmas Day, or actually after Boxing Day. It's the 27th, whatever it is, Friday. So I need to have a good poke around this body and just see where all the holes are. I kind of know, but you know what I mean. Like, just have a good inspection on in the other places where it needs repaired. God, I need to turn my fucking data off or something, so I'm not getting messages come through. Have a good look to see what needs repaired and where, and make a bit of a list of maybe some of the panels I might better buy, possibly to make life a little easier, if you know what I mean. Like, certain stuff I'm going to have to just fix or make, but there may be some panels that I can buy just to make life easier. I'm talking mainly the shell at this point. Right, okay, so the dead obvious stuff is, can I buy this panel? Or can I buy this repair here to replace this whole wheel arch piece? You know, this bit of stuff here, you know, I can make that fairly quick. Even, I know you can actually buy sections of this. So maybe for the bits that I really need, depending on what needs fixed. Yeah, but look, we've got it needs a little bit of work in here, but it's not that bad. But yeah, it's like the wheel arch pieces, these pieces in here, we need a rear valance, but I can repair that. You know, we just need the same on the other side. Also, we've got to be careful when we get all this off. We need inner structure as well. So I don't know whether I can maybe get these panels and maybe some of this inner panel, because that's all going to have to be done. Like, it's all going to have to be done. So this is all going to come off. You know, it's had a few wee dicky repairs. It's had a full paint job at some point. The lady didn't think it did, but that's kind of where we're at. So this piece here, to me, it doesn't look like there's any holes. I fucking need to get some fucking etch on here, or some primer, or some epoxy or something on here, quick, before I wait too much longer. So yeah, it needs that inner panel. It needs this inner panel. The floor actually looks good. I bet you got the other one of those car. So yeah, we need some repair work on these chassis rails. This panel will just repair for the most part, I think. You know, this here will just make, needs a bit of rot work here. We'll just make that. It needs a bit of work here. This has obviously been hit at some point, so we'll just straighten it up. You can see it's been crumpled, but we can fix that. You know, it needs some rot work here. We'll just probably have to make that. again, this piece here actually looks alright. For the most part. You know, we've got a wee bit of repair work here. Same, we need to replace all this inner and outer, and obviously in this panel. This one here needs replaced. That one actually looks alright, but it's got so rotten in here that it's thing. But yeah, this lot, we need to do these as well. Probably. We might get a, yeah, I don't know. We might need to replace this. We might better just repair. But like we need a, if we get that whole section of this piece to the body, you know, a repair section, if we could buy that, it would probably be easier than making it. Like, it wouldn't be difficult to make, but there's quite a bit of work. You know what I mean? Like, it's not difficult to make it, it's just time. So, yeah, that's kind of the main parts in the body. Fuck, I might have to tear into this with Scotch-Brite and fucking clean it up. And get some prime on this fucking thing. I was going to come down here, but it was just so bloody wet. Yeah, for a couple of days in between Christmas and or between when I finished work and Christmas, I didn't really want to come in here and have have doors open and whatever. With the amount of fucking rain that we had, I just tried to let it stay dry. It hasn't flashed, rusted bad or anything yet, so, but it needs definitely to get something on it shortly. But yeah, but that's like kind of the main things. Yeah, and then down here in these chassis rails, there's quite a few holes and bits and pieces. So that's why I want to drop it back down on the ground, or just put it on the axle stands to get it off obviously off the trailer. So I can lift it up the back, get these axle stands, sit it down on the ground, sit the front down on the ground, and then I'll grab a couple of, that Christ, this grass is dying now that he sprayed it. Grab a couple of, there's a couple of old small tyres here, I think. Yeah, I'll grab a couple of these tyres and we'll sit it down and lay it on its side. Righty. Yeah, so just looking at this thing, yeah, it needs a bit of work. It does need a frickin', just because it's hard to see, you know, when you're, but yeah, obviously it's rotted through the bottom pan itself, across the back here, and then yes, it definitely had a few patches put in it at some point. So it's amazing what hides. So we have to repair that. Yeah, we're probably gonna have to do this one as well. And I didn't realise it had actually been fully patched through here, because you can see on the other side, it's had some patches, but it's never been fully patched right across that piece. But this here has been. It's had like a piece folded up and then just put over top. So yeah, we've got to get rid of all this and then patch into the floor section where this inner bit is, you know what I mean? That's where it's rotted out. So it is quite bad. It's been quite bad there at some point. It must be a factory little weird piece there. Not really sure why that's like that. But yeah, these chassis rails are quite stuffed, and this is where your front suspension bolts in. So that's fucked too. So yeah, these whole chassis rails need done. I would do the whole lot. Right, because this is all cracked here too. This one doesn't look as bad as what this one does, if you know what I mean. But if you're going to do one, you might as well do both. So yeah, we need a bit more extensive work. Obviously, I think this is where the blasting, the stand was. I don't know why it was blasting, but that's okay. Look, But yeah, I'd like to get a bit more of this shit off the floor at some point when we have another good go at it. But yeah, it needs really this whole, quite a bit of this done. I couldn't see this. So obviously when he found it, he made sure he got that cleaned right back so I could see what was going on, which is good. But yeah, that's obviously, I reckon, the underseal was when they did this stuff. But it is what it is. So I really need to look in to see whether I can get a lot of these. If I can get a lot of these bits and pieces, especially inner and outer repair panels for these rockers. And I don't know whether I can get maybe the wheel tub and this piece, whether I've got to make this outer piece. But we're going to have to take this off to repair bits of this anyway. I don't know whether I'll probably just make that. It's so flat and simple. It's no biggie to cut this off and make that piece. But we obviously need to get the tank out. Now we'll better get the screws out of it, hopefully, that we've had a good blast, and we can treat the inside of that tank. It did have fuel in it, old fuel, but at least we can get in here and fix all this shit properly. There's a couple of doggy patches in there too. This is the stuff that just you don't see, you know what I mean? This shows its true history. You know, the lady thought it had never been painted. You know, it had just been touched up a couple of times. But the whole thing had been painted. So yeah, we're going to do some repair here. This is broken off. And then it's been bent, broken, and whatever. You know, the majority of this we can just fix and straighten. We might actually take that right out. Take that right out of there. And then repair this, straighten it up. And then we can put that back in and weld it in properly and clean this up and weld it back on there properly and shit like that. But we'll do that after we've fucking done chassis rails and we've worked out what else we're doing. But yeah, you know, stuff like this we can just fix. I might get a section of drip rail. I know you can buy it like for fronts and backs, but I think what we'll do is we'll just get a piece and we'll just use it to repair what we need to repair. We'll just get one. We might get one section, unless I can get a roller piece, the right shape. I might better roll it. I might better make that. We'll cut an old piece off, and we might just see if we can fold a piece up, and then we can just shape it, whatever. You know, even if we have to make just short sections, once I work out how to get the profile right, it won't be too difficult. And while it's on its side here, we can do that. I am going to make up a proper dolly thing for this, but I just expanded a couple of the frickin' wheel chock things just to sit it on in the meantime, so I can move it. At least it's movable, because I'd like to get that to the back and get that wheel off, and because this is going to come out of here in about a month's time. But yeah, right, this won't be on its back on its wheels by then. But hopefully we might have a bit of the metal work done if we can get the panels quick enough. Yeah, maybe there's somebody in New Zealand that makes these too. I don't know. But yeah, it needs done properly. You just can't leave it the way it's been done. You know what I mean? Or do it the way it's been done. I'd like to get, you know, decent replacement pieces, because this is all, like, this is like a little section, and then there's, you know, obviously whatever. But yeah, I can make a carry on of this video for this lady and just point out what all needs done to this, and say, look, we'll do some research, we'll find out what all these repair panels are going to cost, if we can get them, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, it needs quite a bit of work. It really does. It just shows what people hide, eh? You know, we'll carry on. Right, so just sent the videos to the lady of all the bits that really need done on the body. You know, that we can see at the moment, without digging in deeper. But for the most part, like any of them, if there's any repairs that I've got to do on the inner parts, I should have made most of those little bits and pieces. If there's little sections and somewhere that I've got to repair, if you know what I mean. For the most part, we should better repair if there is like an in-between panel between like an outer skin and an inner skin. If there's extra bracing or something in there and I've got to repair something, I can quickly make some of those bits. They don't have to be quite as nice as long as it's strong. They have to be quite as fussy with that sort of stuff, if you know what I mean, per se. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Like if it's got a panel and it's got some little intricate ribs in it or something like that, we can make it, and then it doesn't have to be 100% perfect and put it in there. As long as the panel's fitting the inside and the outside, and it's of a decent gauge, it doesn't have to be really pretty. You know what I mean? We can put it in there and clean it up and blow some primer in there, and some weld through type primer in there, and seal it up and carry on. Unless it's a major structural piece per se, but yeah, I think she's pretty keen to carry on and go ahead. But yeah, we'll get in, we'll see if we can hunt down these prices for bits and see where that goes, and see what we can find and what's available. So what I might do is actually post a bit of a video up on one of the pages, maybe some local panel beating pages, as well as maybe a couple of Morry pages or something like that, and just see if I can get any decent leads on where to get repair panels from, preferably in New Zealand, but maybe from outside might be easier and cheaper and faster, because by the time some of these guys get pieces in, they're coming from the same places anyway, and then they chuck a change on it and then ship it to you. It can end up costing you extra anyway. I've struck that a few times. Sometimes it's just cheaper to go to the source and get it yourself, than it is getting it off some of these guys that have fucking doubled the price, and you're paying double when you can actually still buy it from the source. And you obviously got the freight costs in amongst it, but they've already put their freight prices on it anyway, if you know what I mean. So by the time you get it, you actually end up paying a bit less. Not always the case, but you know what I mean. But there's possibly even somebody in here in New Zealand that makes all these panels. And there's actually some really good repair guys that have got all the patents anyway, if you know what I mean. So they've made them a fucking 100 times, and they've got it all sussed, and they know how to make it quick. When I mean quick, they've got all the patents, they've got all the dies made, ready to make them, if you know what I mean. Like, I've made, one thing, or made a couple of panels, once, and then I've had somebody go, oh, fuck, yeah, can I get one of them? And because you know how to make it the second time, it's easy. It's the first time getting shit to work and working out all the kinks and bugs in it. The second and third and fourth one is not so bad, if you know what I mean. But sometimes can you be bothered just making that sort of stuff all the time, or you do want to actually repair cars? But yeah, so I need to suss that out and see what repair panels we can get, and whether it's just easier for me to make them, or how much cost saving is there. If you're going to pay $1,000 for a panel, well, I can probably make it for that. But if you're going to get, a whole heap of panels for, like I said, $1,000, $1,500 or something like that, well, yeah, like I can chew $2 or $3 grand up in in a few days' work. If I'm working here solid full time, you know what I mean. It doesn't take long to blow through that at $100 an hour plus materials, if you know what I mean. It doesn't take long to get rid of that. It's only really, it's 30 or 40 hours work and you're $4 grand in, plus a wee bit of material. So, yeah, if you can, and you would easily spend that making half a dozen panels, to a reasonable standard, you know what I mean. Whereas if you can buy them you know, and they've been punched out or stamped out, or somebody's made them multiple times before and got all the tooling there to do it. And they can bang them out fast. Well, sometimes it's just easier to buy those panels. Right, so let's quickly throw it on the tripod. So done a little bit of research. So we had a look at this, obviously what was going on here with this body, and talked to the owner. I've seen a couple of videos there. Sorry, just get myself on the tripod here. So I can step back a little bit. Yeah, we obviously had a good look around. I made some videos, sent to the owner. They're happy, kind of happy to carry it on. I think I might have covered that yesterday. But anyway, I went home, did a little bit of research, talked to a couple of people that have Morry parts new, but it's more mechanical than panel stuff, and they have like rubbers and all that sort of shit. They have like a lot of the mechanical stuff, brake stuff, all that sort of shit. Not so much body panel stuff, but there's bound to be someone that possibly has new panel stuff here. There's apparently a Morry club in New Zealand. So maybe if I can get a hold of somebody there might be somebody that's bought a heap of stuff in at some stage, or somebody that's bought two or three people that have bought some panels in and haven't used them all, and there might be some stuff in amongst that. So that's a possibility, but I put a post up on Facebook, just generally, and there's a guy here that I know of that's a little, not too far away from me, 20 minutes sort of thing. He plays with a lot of cars, but he's got a convertible that he must have bought a while ago, and he's been collecting other bodies and wrecks and stuff like that for parts and for cuts. And he said, you're welcome to come and have a look and see if there's anything you can get off one of them, or some, I don't know how. He said he's got quite a few bodies and wrecks and whatever. So there's a possibility of one of them, or all of them, having at least one piece that I can get off them. Or maybe, even if it's not completely good, we might be able to get, say, 80 or 90% of it that's reasonable, and we're going to put a patch in. That would be better than nothing if I can't get panels. I can get stuff from the UK, but it's the cost of getting it here plus buying the panels. That's a kind of a last resort, or me making panels as a last resort. I would rather, if I can get some new panels, would be the better way to go, because then I'm not having to fix stuff. But if I can get some cuts, even like the rocker stuff, if I can cut a rocker out off a couple of cars, and it's, like I said, like 80 or 90% better than this, I'm still at a win. If I've just got to repair a little section back here and all the rest of it's okay, and maybe a little bit at the front, and hasn't had all these patches and all that sort of bullshit, and I can get the whole lot inner and outer, and I can fix everything in between. We just got to put a couple of little pieces in. That would be far easier than trying to fix everything, you know what I mean? And it's the same with wheel arches and back. Like the little back apron and stuff like that. You can buy it all, just about. From what I've worked out with one of the places I've found in the UK that has a lot of panels, you can just about buy 90% of it, if you know what I mean. You can buy whole floor sections and wheel arches and inner guards and outer guards and all sorts of stuff, and they've got a lot of second-hand panels. Like, for the most part, the doors and the bonnet are good. The front, back, like, even he might have maybe some better front guards, back guards, or even they might be, I might better get a section off them, you know what I mean, to repair them easier than me making pieces. There might have been one, that hasn't done a lot of work years ago, picked it up as a parts car, and it's had a crunch in the front, but I can cut the back off it, you know what I mean, sort of thing. Like, I'll happily take a guard that's had a smack in the front and the back section, it's good. We can cut her off, graft her, and that's makes my life a little easier, if you know what I mean, as long as it hasn't got any other major rot holes in it. But anyway, so that's something I'm going to do. Hopefully over the next few days we'll have a look. Just my biggest problem is I need to organise a couple of 3 batteries from a cordless grinder. Like he's probably got power there too, but it just depends on where the bodies are and where I got to cut stuff off. So I need to get a pile cutting disc, a grinder. Unfortunately, I don't have a reciprocating saw. That would be even better. I don't think. There is one floating around here, but it's not always here, if you know what I mean. I know the owner of this shed does have one, but my father's got a 6 ampere battery, and I've got a 6 ampere battery, and I can probably get a hold of another couple from that owner that owns this workshop, you know, so I could probably go with, say, 4 batteries if need be, if you know what I mean. So if I've got to go out into a, you know, somewhere where I can't get a power lead to with just a regular grinder, like I'll take a regular grinder. But yeah, if I can, cut a few panels out with the cordless and just change a couple of batteries, well, it is what it is. But we're not going to worry about that at the moment. What we're going to do is we're going to go over and look at the van and tackle that a little bit. So I'll just grab charge cord and stuff. Right, now that I've found my little stool to sit on, so we might straighten this stuff up, weld these cuts up where they've cut into it, and start piecing this back together. So we know that this here was on here. Oh, yeah, welded on down here, so we need to clean that up, clean that edge up, get that back on there, and then we can carry on with the rest, if you know what I mean. And then fill these voids, or we might just get that fitting again, get these splits welded up, maybe just put a couple of tech screws in it so we can get it on and off, and we can build this piece first in here, quickly form that, and then get some of this back together, and we might even repair in here first. But I think what I want to do first is just strip this piece off here, crank up the grinder and put a new disc on, put a new one of those on, and strip this off, and yeah, go from there, and then we'll, I think, come down here and fix some of this shit up, get this, now that we've actually got this straightened back up again too, that we did there a wee while ago in one of the earlier videos a wee while ago. So yeah, we can clean this up. I can also, I think I should have my little Scotch Brights and stuff like that, and we can hammer and dolly this around and fuck around with it and whatever, get this fixed up properly. Righty. There actually doesn't need to be that much body fluid on here. It definitely needed to come off. There's a lot of places where I've still got to clean up where the surface rust was. It's actually pretty clean from here up. Once I sort of got below this, once we sort of got above this body line, there wasn't actually a lot of surface underneath the filler. We'll strip it off anyway, just so we get a better job. I really need to pull a few of these dents down here. I think you can see there. Oh yeah, about where I got this other bit of filler in from where I did this other patch that I haven't finished yet, obviously. We just threw a bit in there. I wouldn't mind getting in there and pulling a couple of these dents out. Now they've actually got this cleaned back and seen what the actual proper shape is, where it hasn't been butchered. We might be able to actually get in here and pull some of this out, even if I just weld a few bits and pieces, like even just some bright nails or something like that, and just get on with them with the I think Dad might have a slide hammer, but I might be able to clip them with a pair of pliers and just pull it, or whatever. Yeah, I'll better make some sort of way. Unfortunately, I just don't have immediate access to the other workshop where I could actually just go get one. But the only bit of damage, real damage that's in here, apart from the rod, is in here. There's a bit of a mark that runs up to here, and a bit of a gouge there, which is, I think, is what started the body filler, and obviously where they've put it up for rust, and then they've made it too thick. Like this has got a couple little marks in it, but nothing horrendous, nothing that are just a fine skin water covered. But what I might do is I might get in behind here and just give a bit of a clean up in behind, so I can see where the couple of high marks are. Because I bet if I can get, I think I can get the bulk of it. It's kind of where that wheel arch is starting on the inside, but I think I can get the majority of it and just see if we can hammer the worst of it out, just so it's a bit flatter. I mean, I'm not going to go gung ho, like I'm not going to metal finish it. It's not worth it. I could, you know what I mean, but there's a difference between, it's really hard to explain. There was actually a post on Facebook with one of the local, on one of the local pages. The guys were talking about panel beating and whatever like that. This guy was saying, oh, you know, it's not hard to strip it off and metal finish it properly and everything like that. Yeah, it's not. You know, and you can, for the most part, you can get it metal finished pretty good. You know, and I could do better with some of the patches I've got in here, which I might see if I can hammer around a bit better, because I have got a bit of a wave in there. I might try and see if I can, because I can see it now that I've got actually the rest of the filler off the rest of it. But the big thing is people forget is some people have only got a certain budget to work with, and it's really easy to lose sight of that. And sometimes that's just what you got to work within. You know what I mean? If you can do a repair, say like the bottom of there, get it reasonable, make sure it's reasonably flat. Doesn't have to be 100% perfect, and then, you know, do your steps, etch it, whatever, do your skim of filler and block it out. And as long as the person is looking for a show car, you're pretty good. You know what I mean? But this didn't need a whole lot of filler on it. So, without going crazy here, I'll give it a quick DA on the back side to show him a line. Like I can see it on this side obviously, but I can hold a dolly on this side, walk along here, bang it out from the inside, see if we can flatten this off and at least get it decent where and I might be able to find a couple other little spots. There's another little, it's either a low or I think that's a low. But you know, we can just run over this quickly, hammer the worst of these out, and by the time we got to go give it another wee skim of filler, once we get the metal treated properly and make sure we're not going to get, there was just a pile of flash rusting underneath. Like if it was left too much longer, like if you didn't take this off, right, and you just scuffed it and painted over top, if that body filler hadn't been peeling like it was, that was in it originally before we started fixing, it would have all broken off eventually. But I think where it hasn't been fucked with so much and hasn't got quite so much damage, I think it's actually quite sound. Like the adhesion between the layers, between the original paint and primer, is actually okay, or it's reasonable. But again, you've got to remember what you can suggest to the customer. Look, we really need to take this thing back to near metal, but how far do we go? Do we blast all the inside of it? Do we strip it down? And all of a sudden you're past the point of return of a, say, $10,000 to $15,000 tidy up, right? Because that's kind of what we're doing here. You know, that's what I'm kind of allowing. You know, we're not too deep into this yet. We've got a little bit of money into it, but it's not that bad. But you know, it wouldn't be hard to just all of a sudden strip this back to bare metal, fix every fucking hole that we can see in it, you know, strip it all out on the inside, paint it all on the inside. It would be nice to get a decent clean out on the inside, but if I can get him to do that, you get all the shit and the crap and everything, I'll put the wire brush it and whatever, then he can come back along and we can clean it all up and we can spray some, I don't know, some sort of coating in here, blow a quick coat of paint in it, if he wants to do that, and then it's good, you know what I mean? But all of a sudden you're going from, you know, like I said, a 10 or 15 grand tidy up to 30, 40, 50 grand, easy. You know, especially if we start doing a little bit of mechanical work, it wouldn't be hard, but then I would have spent a bit more. If we were going to like 40 or 50 grand's worth, I would have spent a bit more time and got this better. You know, I probably would have waited till I had a little bit more equipment, and I probably could have made that corner better. But this, for what we're doing, and for, you know, for a reasonable tidy up and a clean up, and once we've ground everything out and cleaned everything up and got it all tidied up, nobody's going to know anyway, you know what I mean? And the guy's not looking for a fucking show. He wants it better. Like, have a tidy vehicle that he can cruise around in. I don't know whether he's going to drag his burnout car with it, or whether he's just going to camp in it when they go and do a burnout events type sort of thing. I think that's partly what it's for, because you get a burnout car. He does some of the local burnout car scene stuff. So yeah, it's, you know, you gotta stay reasonable within the person's budget. It's very easy to lose sight of, yeah, sure, you could spend a lot of time metal finishing everything and getting it really, really perfect, or almost perfect, but you end up at that point where you're beyond the point of a tidy up and fixing some of the bad shit, you know what I mean? And that's what it is. We're given the rest of it a good tidy up. We're giving it a good stuff back. You know, we'll put a few coats of primer on it once we've got it reasonably straight with a wee bit of filler, and you know, we'll give it a decent block out, make sure it's decent, and we'll put a coat of paint on it, and it'll look fine. But if you start doing bare metal work everywhere, and sandblast it and dive real deep into it, yeah, you all of a sudden you go from, yeah, like I said, 10, 15 grand to, you know, probably anywhere from probably a minimum of 25 to 50, you know, and it will just escalate just like that, because it's so much more time in hammering and dyeing, and then all of a sudden you're going to find every rust hole, especially if you blast it, you know, like the Morry, you're going to find every motherfucking rust hole in it, and you're going to sit there and repair and try and make it right, and see if you can maybe find repair panels and whatever, you know, and next thing you're in deep, and it becomes a major project, and that's probably not what the person wants. But anyway, we'll give this a quick scuff on the inside with the DA, and we'll see if we can get an idea of where our marks are, and we'll just see if we can handle this out and just straighten it out a little bit before we carry on. fix any, you know, any of the bad stuff. Yeah, it needs a bit more attention. Like you can see here where this line was. I'll bring you in a bit. Not sure what you can see there if you know what I mean. Yeah, so where this line was here, we had a scrape. So we brought that back out a lot. That's pretty flat through there compared with what it was. It had quite a sink in it. This has actually got quite a sink in it, but it's not that bad. Like it still wouldn't be any more than probably a 1/16 to fill any of this. So like it's at the point, if you're not going to be massively fussy and trying to hammer every piece around perfect, fine. You know what I mean? You can get really pedantic and waste a lot of money. You know what I mean? It's, yeah, again, it's that fine edge of being, it's that fine edge of going overboard for the project that you're working on. And, you know, is it going to be a driver? Or is it going to be a show car? Or is it just whatever, you know what I mean? This is going to be a driver, a tidy driver. So it doesn't need to be a $100,000 build. Like I said, we're at 10 to 15 grand tidy up. Ballpark figures, you know what I mean? We're not at 10 yet on this thing. I'll have to go back and double check, but I'm pretty sure we're not near 10 grand yet. For what I've done. But yeah, we spent quite a bit of time on the roof. We soaked quite a few dollars up in the roof. But the rest of it, you know, I think I'm for what we've done and around here, just with time and whatever, and a bit of the other stuff, I think we're about another couple of grand, $1,500 in this corner and whatever. You know, I'll probably cut a little bit of time off for what I've actually spent on that back corner, because I took a couple of times to get it right. A couple of goes at fucking around with a couple of bits to try and get it to do what I wanted it to do. So I can't charge the customer for that within reason, if you know what I mean. But yeah, like it's very easy to run away with a fucking lot of metalwork that's not necessary. At this point, I want to have another go where I've repaired that, where I've joined that top and bottom, not the top and the bottom, the top part of that bottom, that repair to the body. I want to go through there and might see if I can hammer that around a bit better. We might have to do a little bit of heat shrink there, because it has got a bit of a hump in it. It warped a little in me on it. I try to hammer it around, but I might need to do a couple of shrinks just to get it to sit there. I think I probably just wouted too many spots too far. Yeah, I was rushing. And I probably shouldn't have. I should have slowed down a little bit. Very easy to, where it had like all the metalwork down the bottom, and you're joining onto that hard joint, like I could weld across there quite quick. Whereas I just welded a bit fast, where we joint it a little further up from that body join, where the bottom piece goes on. So yeah, where I joint that next piece in and then joint that to the body, I was a little bit fast across there. I should have slowed down a little bit and just let the heat get out of it a bit more. It's got a wee bit of a buckle in it. So I probably will tear that filler off a bit and try and straighten it up a little bit. But here, we were playing with it just before, yeah, a little bit more dolly work here, and you know, it'll be really good. You know, it wouldn't take too long to straighten this out, but you're going to probably spend another, you know, hour or two in amongst here, you know. So every hour or so, that's another couple of $100, you know, another two, you know, every an hour is another $100. But, you know, within 5 or 10 minutes, we got this knocked out pretty good. So now that instead of having that much filler in it, we've got that much filler in it, you know what I mean? It's just a thin skin, a couple of 3 or 4 coats of primer, decent block out, maybe another couple just to maybe get a little bit of a wave out of it, for the most part, and it'll be good. But we'll see if we can hammer and dolly around some of these other pieces. Just get them to flatten out a little bit, so it's not so bad. We might have another just quick go over this and just bring it up a little better, and it'll be good enough. It doesn't have to be metal finished, but if we're, like I said, if we're going to do $100,000 fucking build, we're going to spend the time, and you would make it. I would have built that piece better, I probably would have unpicked this, I probably would have cut this off, straightened this out. I could have done that, but I was trying not to chop into it too far. But, we could, I might weld a few pieces on that and pull it and hammer it around and get it better. We're still going to fix this yet. So we've got quite a bit of time into the back yard anyway, you know what I mean? So it would be very easy to run away with probably $4 or $5 grand into this back yard, if not more, if you're starting to really metal finish it. We've even got a bit of time in those back windows, you know what I mean, that we haven't finished yet. Just got to do a bit more cleanup and a bit more filling with pinholes that I haven't fucking got back to. But yeah, because we spent quite a bit of time down here. But yeah, we'll hammer on this around a bit more, and we might have a bit of a play with this and see if we can get that hump out of that pissed me off a little bit because I just welded it a bit quick. But anyway, it's still going to be damn sight better than what it was. And then, we can grind all this shit up, but we've still got to fix this yet. So we'll do a quick wee bit of work on here, and then we will work out exactly what we're doing down here. We'll straighten this up a bit better, get these pieces to line up, and we'll start tacking this together and get it cleaned up so it'll weld, and we'll get this cleaned up and get it so we can Tech screw it together from the back side, just bang a couple of Tech screws in it so it can sit in the right place, and then we can fill the other voids and get some of this other shit. But we'll have a wee more to play here, and we'll just hammer this out a bit so we don't need the filler on it, you know what I mean, or fuck all filler on it. We're going to end up with fuck all on it. Like it didn't have a lot in places, but like this here had a lot, and a lot of it didn't need to be here. And I think once we've got this fixed, we won't need too much in it. This is high and this is low. So I need to get this to come in and that to come out. And then we might try and straighten up, a few more of these worse spots. And the rest of it we'll just leave. And we'll have we might have a bit of a play up here too once we get this cleaned up. And, finish grinding and fucking fill on these bits. And we've still got to cut this back yet too to fit this window. We've still got to do the final trim around here yet too. Fuck, all the spider webs. But anyway, we'll do a bit more hammer and dolly work on here. Right, finally found what I need. So I got a bucket of water, obviously several hammers and dollies. Finally found the lighter I want. So this here, this area is high, needs shrunk back. Oh no, it's probably going to need several shrink backs. So I've got obviously a big spoon that I can put on the inside. So basically what I'll do is I'll heat up a spot with, not this, but with my little butane torch. Heat up a spot, we'll hammer that in, put the dolly in behind it, and then we'll hammer around the spot where we've shrunk, because they're banged in, and we'll flatten it back off, and then we'll do a few more. And obviously we'll cool it each time with we've got a rag and a bucket of water there. So, unfortunately I don't have anything else I can kind of do this with at the moment. Clean myself a half decent spot there that I can sit this torch down on so I don't burn anything. Hopefully not have to turn it off and on all the time. It's not ideal, but it'll do. Off a little bit through here where we've been working at. Let's see if we'll just even out a little bit better. I think that general height and shape, it might be still too full here in this area. Might need to heat it and shrink it back down here. But we could work with it. I might just see if I can hammer and dolly this around a little, just so we can get some of these dark spots a bit lower. Maybe hammer this back in, and we might have to even shrink. So we might just shrink this, might put a bit more body filler off here. Shrink this down a little lower. I actually think it's actually not too bad up there. Maybe pull another shrink into here. And it's not quite shrinking the way we want it to, because we just haven't got that real hot heat, fast heat, and we're getting too much. But it's working still. It's high here too, just looking down it. But we've got rid of the worst of the and we can still do a little bit of work up here, but again, it's not actually that bad. I could probably flatten this, bring this back out a little bit. But for the most part, it's not bad. Let's run the DO over that and just see if I can work out maybe where that other high spot is out here. Just see if we can move it around a little bit more. Just so we can get a wee bit more out of it. Right, I think I'm happy with this at this point. I think what I might do is, maybe later, I might call Mum and Dad's. I'm pretty sure the old man's got a slide hammer. I might just see what he's got and what I can make up to pull. If I even going to make up a little adapter with the hook on it, that I can like use a bright nail with with a nice wide head on it that I can hook onto it and just give a couple of tugs and then break it off. You use a bit like a stud puller. Unfortunately, I don't have. We got one of those triangle tip ones where you just earth that triangle tip on and you can pull it. And then, but yeah, if I can just pull this a bit, and then I might go back and have another look at that. But it's a damn sight better than it was, I should say. And I think I've got the rid of the worst of the high out here. This might just need a little fill, just for what it is, if you know what I mean. But I think if I can get these couple bits out here, then obviously once we get a bit of shape back in this with a wee bit of body filler, or cess if we need to do any more work a bit further up, I think what we'll do is we'll try and get this bottom part filled and shaped and cleaned up and dressed up a bit nicer than it is, just sitting there at the moment. But I think what we'll do, we'll just, I've wasted quite a bit of time doing this now, but we've improved the back guard that we don't need half the fucking filler that was in it. Definitely don't need anywhere near as much. So I think what I might do is just hammer this shit around a bit, so we get this to clean up, and maybe just, I don't know, we'll see if we can start tacking it together, because I would like to spend a little bit more time at home today. Maybe, yeah, hammer this around a little bit, so we can tack it back together, and then we might, depending on what happens, we'll either come back to town tomorrow or Monday, and I might just see if I can organise a couple of extra batteries from a grinder and just suss out how many cutting discs I've got here, just in case I need to go buy a few. I'm just not sure what I've got in the way of stock at the moment. Yeah, just so we can maybe cut a few panels off, a couple Morrys, and just see what we can find. But I think we'll get this tidied up, at least a couple of tacks in here, get this cleaned up, get that other bit fitting, and just see if we can maybe get a couple of tech screws in from behind. We should better get a couple of tech screws in here somewhere. It only has to be a couple just to help hold. We can use a pair of vice grips as well, just to hold that back on, and then we can just see what we're going to do here over the next day or so, and then we can get that other, make sure our new pieces we started off making still fit. Now that we've altered the shape of this a little bit, but it needed done. So yeah, we might just do this off camera. We'll just hammer this around a little bit and bang a couple of tacks on here, and then we'll make that fit. And yeah, we might call that a day. So yeah, I might just come back, just, it probably won't be that long, maybe, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe, by the time I just muck around and get this cleaned up a little bit. Yeah, right, so we're kind of back to where we were before we started trying to fix this inside piece. So I've tacked those couple of splits together, just, I don't know, dozen tacks down each one, whatever. I haven't really welded it together, if you know what I mean. Just got it so it's joined together and flatten it off. Banged a couple of tech screws so that's back in where it needs to be, that inner piece. This piece here, where it joins the bottom panel, it's good at this inside edge, but where it meets the back side of it, where it goes underneath, I need to change where the bend is. I might have to put a little bit of shape in here. See, it sort of kicks off in a bit of an angle. I might have to, I don't know, might just have to try and put a little bit of radius in there, or get that to tuck a little bit different, just so it's straight. Maybe when we get the bend to be a bit better, we might better get it a bit straighter. And this still fits reasonably well. I don't think we're going to have to alter it a whole bunch, just mainly just get getting these two panels to join together reasonably nice. Maybe get a little bit more curve in this panel here just to meet up a wee bit nicer. You know, but as we pull it together and we play with it a little bit, once we actually get to that point, I think we'll be okay. This panel comes to about here. I'm actually going to cut it back, which will actually get rid of some of this. There's a few holes in amongst some of the stuff down here. There's actually a hole down here which I've got to fix. We'll worry about that afterwards. But yeah, I think I'll just cut this back. Once we sort of know we're happy and we've got everything fitting, I'll probably just cut it back about this line here, and we'll trim this back to here and whatever. I think we're going to fold. I think we're going to fold this edge around and fix that line, won't we? Yeah, this line come down here and then V it in here. That's exaggerated, but we need to straighten that up. Yeah, and yeah, like I said, I might call round to Mum and Dad's. I'm pretty sure Dad's got a slide hammer of some description for maybe pulling bearings out of something. So I'll have a look and then see if I can maybe make up a little fitting that I can do a couple pulls on that wheel arch and just get that nicer. And then we can decide whether we're going to do a little bit more hammer and dolly work to this. But we've got this out quite a bit better. That's only really going to need a fine skim. Obviously, when we've done the body metal work here, got it all welded in, we'll have to check that. We've obviously got to do quite a bit of work on the inside yet, but now we know that this is reasonable. It's not 100% perfect. This back bit, it could probably still do with a little bit of flattening out down the edge. It's still got a bit of a bulge up, but I think it'll be fine. You know, we can weld that up, get that right, and then we can pull this back off. Now we can make the inner metal that's missing again now, and a few other bits and pieces, and then we can see if we can straighten this up and whatever. But yeah, I think that'll do for now, and yeah, we'll attack it again maybe tomorrow or day after or something like that.